Perhaps you wonder how the streetcar could one day cross the Missouri River.
Well, there's a push for the Streetcar Authority and Council Bluffs to someday develop an extension and bridge just south of I-480. 6
News' Johan Marin spoke to city leaders on what this means for business in downtown Council Bluffs.
Should the streetcar occur one day, Council Bluffs could see a boom in business along the route.
I think a result of implementing streetcar through Council Bluffs would not only help expand existing businesses, but also provide new opportunities for future housing.
Brandon Garrett with the city tells us they still have a lot of work to make the project a reality. They've been studying transit in Council Bluffs urban core for several years.
Our next step is to put out a request for qualifications for a planning and environmental linkages study, which is required by the FTA.
That study looks at the environmental impact of the potential project. Garrett believes it's important since the extension would run from Dodge Riverside Park at the Missouri River to First Avenue, all along West Broadway in downtown Council Bluffs.
Connecting tens of thousands of people to their residences, their jobs, their health care, education, and entertainment.
Melinda Brink grooms cats for a living at her shop, Club Meow Inc. She's been running her business on West Broadway for quite some time. She believes a streetcar would provide better transportation for her elderly clients.
Instead of having to rely on someone else, a family member or a friend, to drive them, or a transport company to transport their animal for them.
And she thinks it will increase the foot traffic in downtown.
But that's going to help all of our businesses.
On your side, Johan Marin, 6 News.
And the streetcar project is still a long way from happening, but once it's complete, Omaha and Council Bluffs officials see it as an exciting addition.